you've also been labeled as a cultural observer.
Ooh,
I know.
what an
This
outrageous
isn't
epithet. Cultural observer. My God.
cultural observer.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're focusing on right now, or it's something that's just fascinating to you that the masses are doing?
The masses never interest me. I find them absolutely abhorrent. What is interesting in our culture? I think I've been talking about this with a lot of people on my show and in private as well. And I think our contemporary discourse on social media has gotten really dumb. I was at Jordan Peterson gave a talk here at the Moody Center. It was all about having 1 hour orgasms and so on. And
I can't believe I missed it.
it's how do you give a 1 hour orgasm? And I'm sitting there edging, and I looked around at the audience, and it was full. And I looked at these people's faces. I was like, "Holy crap!" Like the discourse on social media is completely removed from how these people live their lives and what they think about. Like I knew that whole kind of catchphrase, "Twitter's not real life," and it just hit me that day. I'm like this is really this very, at best, funhouse mirror place. So it's really kind of just living with a lot of eye rolls. And yeah, I don't really know that I have anything that is piquing my interest these days, as opposed to like putting me off.
So when you get into that space, how do you find inspiration, especially as a creative? Because for me, sometimes if I spend too much time online, I very much forget that Twitter is not the real world, and I can get really like disheartened or like just unmotivated. Like it's almost like it like takes energy away from me in like a really really weird way, and then I just feel discouraged. Like I don't want to make anything because it's not going to do well, and everything that I see that does well is like it's just like shock jock stuff, and it's not adding value, and it's like I don't know, it's just all of this really superficial stuff. So it's like, does it even matter? And then you get really cynical, which I know that you're not a fan of cynicism,
Right.
and I'm not either, and I can catch myself really easily if I'm not paying attention to like how things affect my mental health, and online is definitely a big ingredient in that. So how, if you get into a place where you're like eye rolling and discouraged in a way, do you get back to a place of inspiration and creativity and I have a purpose and white pilling essentially?
Yeah. So I have a document at home with like a list of like book ideas, and it's a long list, and it's kind of interesting knowing that I'm gonna die not have most of those books ever be written, and a lot of them have really great ideas. So I had one project which I now, I think it's because it's a presidential year, and it's very important for our media and social media to reduce everything to this WWE good guys versus bad guys. So there's just no room for kind of any sort of other than that kind of discourse. So like maybe I'll have to take a break for a year until things calm down. Although I'm very curious to see what's going to happen as a result of November in terms of the losing side and how they're going to take it. Because I mean, it's who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, so there was a project, and my gray hair is showing here. There was a project I was working on when I was trying to get my foot in the door as an author. It was a script I wrote in like 2003, 4. And now I'm going to be making that into a graphic novel. I'm going to be doing crowdsourcing, which shouldn't be too hard, although maybe I'll be eating my words. And I remembered what I really enjoy is helping. One of the great things about being older is that you can help young people avoid the mistakes you made. Because when you are young and bright, you're also inexperienced, right? So you might have a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom, but you're not going to have a lot of experience. So you're not going to know what this means or that means. It's just something you learn with time. So again, like young people understand this all the time. Older people are like, at least you can learn from my mistakes. So there was a lecture I used to give for like young socially awkward men about how not to be so young and socially awkward. And just like, because I remembered very vividly when I graduated college, I wasn't concerned about being smart enough or being hardworking. I knew I couldn't speak corporate. I knew that when I'm in an office, they're going to have this language where people say one thing and mean the other, and I would have no capacity for being able to kind of sift through the double talk, and it was going to be deleterious to my well-being in my career. So this is a whole talk I used to give, and like the audience would love it because they knew all about what the Fed is and how the Fed is bad, but they didn't know how to work a room. They didn't know how to pass as normie, or how normies communicate with this kind of two-faced, when someone's not interested, they're not going to say I'm not interested, they're going to use the other cues. So I thought, okay, I can flip that into a book as well. So there's things that it's really easy for me to be inspired because I just think the world is such an amazing and interesting place. And I guess it speaks to that Sigma thing, because I'm not looking for any of my books to be eat, pray, love, right?
Mhm.
I don't want that. I would rather have my smaller, more cultivated audience. As long as I can pay my rent, eat dinner wherever I want, whenever I want, take a trip once in a while, and not feel weird if I drop $100 on a crazy plant, then my life is, and if I take my girl out to a nice restaurant, I don't have to worry about the bill. I'm pretty much set. You know what I mean? So I think that's a really low bar to have a successful life, in terms of it's really pretty easy to meet that.
Mhm.